Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. Tonight, I just got done watching the newest film, Play Dirty, starring Mark Wahlberg, Lakeith Stanfield, and Rosa Salazar. In this film, Mark Wahlberg and Lakeith Stanfield are good friends, and they also moonlight as thieves or bank robbers. They'll pretty much steal anything as long as the money is right, and they are very good at it. Well, cue Rosa Salazar's character, whom they meet in the beginning of this film, and she kind of coerces them into helping her steal a bunch of very rich artifacts from an uncovered pirate ship that was found at the bottom of the sea, and she wants to steal it all and bring it back to her country and sell it there to help support her people, especially since the thing originated from her country to begin with, so she feels it's in her right to be the one that is successfully able to steal it. They need to put a plan together and figure out how to steal it before a bunch of other really bad people are able to get a hold of it and keep it for themselves, which would negate her plan for trying to help liberate her people. So cue the planning stages, cue the double crossing, cue the extreme violence and the over-the-top set pieces. This is a film that you've seen 1,001 times. It is not doing anything different. Literally, it's just another heist film. The thing that differentiates this film from other heist films are the fact that it's a Shane Black film. And for those of you who don't know, Shane Black has done movies like Iron Man 3, which is probably his most popular with mainstream audiences. A lot of people like Iron Man 3. I did not, but that's besides the point. He's done movies that I really love, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is probably my favorite film of his, and then he did another film which I argue is the poster child for when people go into comment sections and talk about how Hollywood doesn't do anything original anymore. I wave the poster of the movie The Nice Guys on a flag as a means to say, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Original movies come out all the time, just nobody goes to see them unless it has the word Avengers in front of it. The Nice Guys came out with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and it was essentially a 70s detective story, kind of like Bad Boys, but it took place in the 70s, about two cops, Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, investigating the disappearance of this young woman. And it was fantastic. The sets were incredible, the action was incredible, the acting was incredible, the music was incredible, everything was amazing about that movie, and it should have gotten sequels, but nobody went to go see it. That is my second favorite movie of Shane Black, and Shane Black has a very distinct style. He also wrote the first Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's also written a lot of the Lethal Weapon films with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, and he has a very distinct style when it comes to the chemistry between whatever actors he has in his films. He has a way with dialogue and banter where it's not as comical as Bad Boys in terms of the jokes they're quipping, but the chemistry between the characters feels very authentic, and it feels almost Guy Ritchie-like. Guy Ritchie has this really chaotic energy to his dialogue. If you take that chaoticness out of it, it's pretty much a Shane Black movie. It feels like we're watching a Guy Ritchie movie when you're watching this, and Guy Ritchie actually just did a movie very similar to this, a heist film that I really liked called Fountain of Youth. And at the end of the day, like I said, this movie doesn't do anything new. Literally nothing. You get the opening scenes where you get introduced to all the characters. There's some backstabbings that take place. There's a bunch of really over-the-top action set pieces. There's the planning phase where they got to figure out how to steal the thing that they're going to figure out. Then, of course, everything goes wrong and they have to adapt on the fly. Then, against all odds, where our heroes are up against the ropes and you have no idea how they're going to get out of it, everything kind of just works out and something happens, and you learn of the twist that there was actually a secret plan that the movie didn't tell us, the audience, because they wanted us to be surprised. And then the main character, whether that be John Krasinski in The Fountain of Youth with Guy Ritchie's movie, or Mark Wahlberg here in Shane Black's movie, where they then discuss the fact that there was a secret second plan, and then we get to see that unfold over a quick little montage to catch us up, and we're all like, oh my god, we didn't see that coming. And it's literally a movie we've seen a million times. But even though I say all of that, I still enjoyed it. It may not have done anything new, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And although the structure is there for movies you've seen a million times with the double crosses and the plan within a plan, this is still a Shane Black version of it. It's still him throwing his hat in the ring and giving us his interpretation of what a fun heist film would be. And in that aspect, the story itself, the thing they're stealing, the beats they go through to get the treasure that they're looking for is unique in and of itself. It's just as a whole, the movie is very familiar, even though there are things within it that are unfamiliar. And I actually found myself enjoying it. I got through the first 20 minutes of this film and I was like, man, it just feels like The Fountain of Youth. I keep saying that because it's the most recent like heist film that I've watched. But then once things really started to kick into gear and I started to get used to the characters and the banter and I got on board with them, Mark Wahlberg and Lakeith Stanfield as friends, I started to really like seat back back into my seat and just enjoy it for what it was. Yes, it's something I've seen before, but with a Shane Black spin on it. And like I said, I really like Shane Black. I think he has great chemistry between these actors. I think he has great dialogue between the people that are in this film. I like all of the characters. Mark Wahlberg does essentially play the same character that he always plays, but he gets that Shane Black dialogue, which doesn't always happen in Mark Wahlberg films. A lot of the times Mark Wahlberg is just in stuff where he's kind of stoic and has really corny dialogue. I wouldn't really say the dialogue is corny here. It felt very authentic, and I think that goes a long way with enjoying this film. If you don't like the cast and their chemistry with each other, you're gonna kind of check out of it, but I really bought into their friendship, and I really liked the Rosa Salazar character, and I liked that she was fighting for something that was meaningful, and I thought that the action, although a little riddled with CGI, was really well done. And a lot of heist movies play things close to the vest where they're very practical. There's not these big, huge spectacle set pieces. There are literally scenes in this movie where they derail a train by making it go so fast that when it goes around a bend, the train flies off the tracks, and they're in a car driving backwards as the train is literally tumbling towards them, and they're like dodging debris. They're getting in these giant epic shootouts in the street with like other militia trying to steal the treasure. There's a big body count in this film. There's a lot of violence and a lot of action if that's what you're into. My biggest gripe with this film, and I can't believe I'm saying this because Shane Black isn't usually that lazy, especially considering the fact that he writes a lot of scripts for cop movies, but it's almost like Shane Black and the people he wrote this movie with forgot that social media and cell phones are a thing. There are cell phones in the film, but they're predominantly only used as a telephone, whereas things are happening in this film, and I'm like, where are the cops? Like, there's a train tumbling through the city after flying off the tracks. It is now 15 minutes later, and there is not a single cop showing up. And then the cops do show up at the very last second when our heroes are already getting away. And I'm just like, we live in a day and age where there are literally missing people that are found on social media from people just on Instagram. Literally, the community just comes together and finds people that are missing. If a kid robs a Twix candy bar from a 7-Eleven, 400 cops will be there in 3 seconds. In literally 3 seconds, you'll have 1,000 cops show up to the 7-Eleven to arrest this kid. But in this movie, if you derail a train and send it tumbling across the streets of Manhattan, there is not a single cop to be found. And it was, of course, a convenience to let the action play out, to let Mark Wahlberg and Lakeith Stanfield and Rosa Salazar have fun in the streets, shooting bad guys. But it just seemed a little too comical. I'm like, there's a huge shootout going on in the middle of downtown Manhattan right now after a train just flew off the tracks and there's not a cop to be found. And it did pull me out of it pretty hard. And if not for the action being just really fun, Mark Wahlberg has a way that he does the action in this film with his gun where he almost uses like a form of gun fu like John Wick. If not for the action being a lot of fun, I would have really been disappointed with that. But I was a little forgiving because I was just having fun. Again, it's a fun heist film with over-the-top action, with good chemistry, good acting, good dialogue, a little too much CGI and a little suspension of disbelief with the cops. But I think that if you're a fan of Shane Black, if you're a fan of heist movies, if you're a fan of Mark Wahlberg, or in my case, Lakeith Stanfield, I absolutely love him. I definitely think that this is a fun watch and worth your time. But what do you guys think? Did you even know this movie existed? Because I didn't before tonight. I was originally going to go see The Smashing Machine, but when I went to buy my tickets, I waited a little too long to buy them, and my theater was sold out, and I wasn't going to drive an hour to go see it, so I scrambled to find something to watch, and then I stumbled across this when I watched the trailer, and I was like, oh wow, that's a lot of fun. That's on Amazon Prime as of yesterday. Heck yeah, I love Shane Black, I love Mark Wahlberg, and I gave it a try, and I hope that you guys give it a try too, because this is apparently based off of a book series, and I'd like to see more because I really like the characters here. I bought into all of them, and I'd like to see where they go down the line. Anyway guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did I give you a reason to check this out on Amazon this weekend? If I have, I'd love to talk about it. Maybe you've seen it already. Let's talk about it. Or maybe you think it looks like shit. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And as always guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.